episode of Drinking and Driving. It is Bristol week, and man, I'm telling you, it's going to be a fun one because it's also St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, man, I'm so excited. I got some friends coming down this weekend, and it's just another excuse since it's St. Patrick's Day to drink and watch NASCAR. It's going to be awesome. Maybe
Yeah,
have some green fruity drinks.
yeah, like we needed another excuse to sit around on a Sunday and drink. We got it. The old luck of the Irish is going to be with us, I hope. And hopefully with a few of these drivers. We are at Bristol in the spring on concrete for the first time in a few years. And man, is it exciting because we're going to be going fast at the last great American Coliseum. We're going to go. We're going to go, bud.
Yeah, and I think that's an awesome name for a stadium. Do you happen to know why they call it that?
I figure it's one of the last great Coliseums that's really alive.
Yeah, no, it's the largest amphitheater in the world. It sits and the Roman Coliseum only sat 50,000. So it's 3 times the size of the Roman Coliseum.
Nerd nugget for
Yep.
you right there. Well, before we get into the excitement of Bristol and the excitement of getting drunk when wearing green this week, we got to talk a little bit about Phoenix. Now, I know it probably wasn't the most exciting race for everyone to watch. I mean, you have a mile track, which slows you down. You don't have banking, which also slows you down. And it's really narrow. It's hard to pass at Bristol. Or, sorry, at Phoenix. It's hard to pass. And so it is known as one of the lower rated tracks for fans. Now, I see where everyone's coming from, but I had a good time watching this race.
Did you? Yeah, I mean, Bristol is hard to pass as well, but Phoenix, it is just coming off of a couple super speedways, so again, it's not like as exciting as those. And you need to get kind of one race in like this, an intermediate track length. And like you said, there is no banking, so they can't go super fast. So yeah,
You
but
know
I,
what
I didn't mind it as well. Just an average race to watch.
Yeah, I would say the best part of Phoenix is going into turn one. You can cut that corner, and that leads for 4 wide, 5 wide racing on a restart, and guaranteed 3 wide every single lap. So all 500 kilometers of this race, you're gonna see 3 wide racing, which
Yeah,
is exciting.
and I love that as well. Just the strategy of when to cut that corner and when to go the long way, and then where you're gonna pop up after you cut that corner. It's really cool to watch.
That's right. You see a lot of guys getting pinched, a lot of guys falling behind because they can't get up the track, and then they gotta check their brakes. So we definitely saw that. But I think this headline of this race was not necessarily the strategy when it comes to where to cut the corner, but the pitting strategy. We saw some of the fastest cars get basically taken out of the whole equation because they did not keep up on the pitting. Martin Truex Jr. led, I don't have the number, probably 50 laps, and was by far the fastest car in the middle of the race. And I don't know where he ended up, but not in the top 10, um, even though he was a top 5 car, all based on pitting.
Yeah, he definitely had the best car, and it just improper cautions leading to just bad track position for pitting. He just got stuck in a pinch, really. He couldn't pit because he would lose too much, and he could kind of just risk it all, hoping for another caution to come up. And yeah, that's just what happened. That's what racing is.
Right. Correction, he did finish 7th, so he was in the top 10, but he was definitely a top, like, 3-ish car, um, just based on speed through the whole race. But number 1 fastest car of the race definitely won it. Christopher Bell ran away with this thing. Now, he should owe a little bit of that to his pit crew and his crew chief to give him that best strategy and didn't make that many mistakes on pit road. Although they did have a little bit of a blunder after stage 2, where he actually ended up losing a ton of positions, starting 21st, going into stage 3. He passed everybody in the first half of that stage and went on to win it. So just, for all you fans that think, "Oh, I don't wanna watch Phoenix, they can't pass each other, it's boring," that's a true testament to what a skilled driver in the right car could do. I mean,
Yeah,
21, positions in one stage, half a stage, really.
you're right. And the long green flag runs really helped Bell. You can see that's where he made up most of his positions, just going through the field. He did fall. He kind of was slow during the caution restarts and everything. That's kind of where he fell back. But with all the Toyotas, the longer runs helped them, and that's when they made their moves.
Absolutely. Yeah. Other than that, there's only a few things I want to touch on. Ty Gibbs, he is starting to impress me. I mean, I know that we've talked about him before. I think you said he was going to be rookie of the year, but I think the first two stages really, well, I should say the whole race, but I think it shows that he could be up there with the best of them at any time. And I think it's only a matter of time until you see a big win here and him solidify a spot in the playoffs come the end of the year.
Yeah, I agree. And watching him and betting against him and on him throughout the beginning part of this year, I was very impressed. And yeah, I do think he has one of the faster cars in Toyotas, especially, and
Yeah,
on a good team too. So that doesn't hurt.
absolutely. Yeah, we're gonna definitely talk about Joe Gibbs Racing here coming up when we do our Bristol talk. But yeah, I think the Joe Gibbs cars are showing up. I was really high on Hendrick for the first half of the season, and going through Phoenix and then into Bristol, I'm changing my tune a little bit to go full Joe Gibbs Racing.
Yeah, I mean, they impressed me at Phoenix, and I think it's going to be because they're running intermediate track packages at Bristol. So I think it's going to be the same group of cars again, showing up again at Bristol.
Yeah. Yeah, now the last thing I want to talk about Phoenix before we go into how we may have made you a little bit of money last week was NASCAR was experimenting with a new tire gauge. So they were having a thicker tire, thicker rubber on the right side tires. Now, this I I mean, you'd have to talk to the drivers to really understand what that did for Phoenix, but NASCAR said that they were going to do the same at Bristol this week, and we know uh, how much tires play a role in the Bristol race. So, I can't talk about too much of what happened at Phoenix with that tire change, but I think we see that play out here in Bristol.
Yeah, it is interesting, and it's probably just shorter tracks for the thicker rubber, which kind of makes sense to prevent tire degradation,
Right.
especially like the flatter tracks too. That's probably why they whipped it out at Phoenix.
Right, you put so much pressure and so much friction on the outside of that right tire going around the turns and in the braking zones that yeah, I think it's a good idea. I think it's going to be interesting because the teams aren't going to know how to gauge their tires uh, going into this because they haven't really experimented with it that much. So going into Bristol, we may see some early pitting just to pull those tires off, have the teams look at how much wear, where the wear is, and make a judgment call for the rest of the race. I mean, we're gonna have 500 laps. That's 266 miles of short track racing. It's a lot of right turns, bud. A lot of right turns.
Left turns.
Yes, I was thinking right side tires. Yes, man, we should just have a race that everything just goes the opposite. I
I
don't
know,
think
right?
any
Like
of the. I
like
think you
Mario Kart mirror mode.
exactly. Yeah, I think you throw like, all the NASCAR guys, so the 37 or some odd cars that were in this race, but you throw a few, I don't know, like Australian drivers in there. I bet you if you put 10 Australian drivers in, they'll finish top 8.
Yeah. No, actually, that'd be cool to do something like that. What made me think about that is in Dubai for F1, they're making a new track there, and I guess it's gonna be like kind of like a rainbow road or something. So it's gonna be like a whole circle cyclone type thing. It's gonna I don't know if they're gonna go up it or down it or something, but it's like a little slide thing. It's gonna be
They
so
should
cool.
make it just like Rainbow Road, where you can fall off the edge and just
Yeah,
die.
you got a little
No,
fisherman carrying back on the track.
that's right. You're gonna have a little cloud guy with a fishing pole rolling you in. Yeah, that's funny. All right, so Dick, you were not around to make Dick's picks last week, um, but I did the honors,
Yeah, I trusted
and
Tex Pixes.
I gave you. I think I gave you two, but I really played out one. I hammered one home, and sure enough, it hit for plus 700. That's pretty good, especially for me who does not bet and not the betting expert on this show. But tally that one up for the Tex man. But the one I hammered was Bell or Bush to win and Blaney top 10. Of course, that did hit. Christopher Bell was your race winner, and Ryan Blaney number 5. So
Nice.
that
That's
paid
a good
out.
one.
Yeah, I really like those. They're not prop bets. They're not parlays, but they're kind of props. I don't know.
Yeah,
Whatever
they're
they.
they're kind of parlays. That was a boost on what FanDuel or
Yeah, that
something.
would be a
A
FanDuel
little
boost. Yeah.
odds boost. Yeah,
Yep.
those are always fun. Get a little more money out of them.
Right. So, I know you alluded to it at the beginning of the show, but other than watching the Bristol race, what are your St. Patrick's Day plans this week?
Yeah, probably just drink a lot and get hammered and enjoy the whole weekend. Got a long weekend. Got some buddies coming down, so
You're gonna
it'll be a
spend it
good
in
time.
Florida, right?
Yep, Florida bars. It's a beautiful weekend. It looks like gonna spend it at the beach maybe. So I'm ready.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know that I'm gonna have a little bit of a different St. Patrick's Day. It's gonna be sort of low key. I'm still gonna have me some beverages, but I'm gonna go the more sophisticated route on Saturday and hammer it home on Sunday for the race. But on Saturday, do a little bit of wineries, get a little bit of
Nice.
cocktails, the fancy green sparkly drinks that you know the lady loves. Like, got to keep the old lady happy if we're gonna, you know, always be spending 4 hours every Sunday watching a race and drinking beers with my buds. So,
It's kind of
take her out to
smart.
a winery, play with the puppy, do the things that the lady loves. But yeah, then Saturday, green beer, Guinness, maybe a little bit of Jameson. I had a Irish coffee in the morning, even today, just
Nice. Just
practicing.
yeah, practicing. Got to make it good.
But that's definitely gonna be how I start the morning, and just roll it straight through Bristol. If you're out there in Tennessee at Bristol Motor Speedway, the St. Patrick's Day party is at the Fan Zone stage from 5 p.m. until question mark. I
That's
love.
awesome. That's a good time. Question mark.
Yes. If you ever have a party invite that just says till question mark, get your ass there, bud.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a good time. So getting into the nitty gritty of Bristol, let me start you with a fact. I want to hear what you have to say about it. The last 5 Bristol races, that's night race, day race, dirt track, all the last 5 races, they all had different winners, and they all came from different teams.
See, I find that hard to believe because this type of race, short track, it's all about qualifying. Usually you have kind of the same types of people up there qualifying in the top portion of the field. And this track also you need a good pit crew and a good team. So 5 different racers in the last 5 races. I'm kind of surprised about that.
Yeah. I think when it comes to short track racing, it's a whole nother skill. It's not the same skill that'll take you out and win Talladega or Daytona, or not just the super speedways, but it takes a whole different kind of racing to be a short track racer. And I'm exactly on your side here. I think that's crazy to have 5 different winners in 5 different races.
Yeah,
Um,
and you would think if it does take like that a whole different level of skill, it's like, well, only a select few people have that type of
that's right.
skill to race short tracks.
Exactly.
So, I mean,
Um,
maybe I could see that though, because with a lot of lap traffic, it kind of is not, I wouldn't say lucky, but it's a lot of strategy on how you pass cars. It depends what the cars in front of you do. So, if you're really racing with another person and you guys are side by side, it's like, well, when you're lapping cars, which side are they going to take? Are they going to go low, high? Who's the better car when they go low, high?
right. Um, and I think you said it perfectly. I think you need to be good at passing cars, whether they are uh, cars ahead of you in position or lap traffic. And I think that plays such a huge role in this race that I think the drivers that have a lot of experience running in the top 5 at at Bristol or even in short track in general, specifically in the next gen cars, are going to have the big advantage here. And I mean, Bell, he has more laps in the top 5 than anyone else by over 200. I think he's proved himself as a short track racer, and he can pass cars. I mean, just straight up. I mean, Larson's the same way. He's just a driver. He can perform anywhere, but he has such a uh, a big advantage because of the other series he races. I think he races a lot in dirt, a lot of sprint cars, which this is what that is. And the sprint cars are always going around half mile or less track, always trying to make passes, always trying to get past lap traffic, and I think that all plays a big advantage in this race.
Yeah, and you're right. Kyle Larson specifically, I don't know. I'm kind of leaning off of. I don't, as in, like, I don't think he could win. I think he'll finish, away from the Toyotas.
I
Now,
agree.
with that said, Chris Bell, I think he has a good shot of winning. It depends what the odds drop as before I make any bets on him. Denny Hamlin, I think he has a really good shot. And Martin Truex showed up last week at Phoenix as well. So look at those three, and we'll see when the odds drop what we're gonna do with that.
Yeah, I'm gonna back you on a few of those. For those same reasons, I like Bell. Hamlin, he has, uh, he's already proved himself by winning the Clash, so he can run short track this year. He's done it this year, and I think he can continue to do it. He won it last year in concrete, so the fall race at Bristol. That's where he did his famous "I just beat your favorite driver." So he obviously can do it. And I think to that last point of the last 5 Bristol races having different winners, this is when I think we see uh, that stat come down. With that being said, I want to bring up another fact, and this may surprise you. So Chris Buescher has the most short track wins in the next gen car. Do you think he plays a significant role in this race?
I want to say yes. I want to have faith in him. This year, I don't know. He hasn't really showed up anywhere and competed. So I don't know. I want to say yes. I think he definitely has a skill level too. I just think it's too early in the season.
Yep. Yeah, I think you're right. He hasn't shown anything this year that would make you think that he's going to play a major role here. He has the experience running at the top in the next gen car in short track specifically, but it seems like something didn't carry over this season from some of his old cars and old experiences. So yeah, I'm leaning away from Busher here. And then the last guy I really want to talk about, and I don't know if it means we need to talk about him for this specific race, but I just as a blanket statement from how he's run this whole season and his trend upward, Ty Gibbs, he has the highest average finish in the entire series this year out of every driver. I mean, drivers that have won Cup Series championship after championship after championship. Like, you have a significant, what I thought, a significant cutoff after the first 15 drivers, the top 15 drivers of the series. I thought, of course they're going to be up there, and then there's going to be a drop off. No, he is right up there. He's leading. Well, he leads everyone.
Yeah, I'm excited about that too because it's good to have it's refreshing to see a younger face up there now and kind of really dominating. He hasn't won yet, but I think that's coming up. He's due for one soon, I think.
He is. All right, so let's get to Dick's picks, and if you would allow me, because I had good luck last year, can I make one of these picks?
You have my blessing.
All right, because of how good Joe Gibbs Racing has been, you've seen it at Phoenix, and you've seen their continued success on short tracks. Joe Gibbs Racing has Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., Christopher Bell, and Ty Gibbs, all guys that we sort of talked about today already. I think 3 of those 4, minus Truex, have a real good shot at winning this race, but you never know. I'm just really high on Joe Gibbs Racing here. The Toyotas are great, and those drivers are great on this track. So, with that being said, I want Ty Gibbs top 5. Okay. Now I have one more that I even have more faith in, and I said the reasons earlier. Denny won this race last year. Denny won the Clash this year. And Toyotas are looking the best on these shorter tracks. I'm saying Denny to win.
And I like that too. I'm not a huge fan about outright betting. I'm more of like the top 5, top 10, or head-to-head matchups. But if the price is right for Denny to win, I might follow you on that one.
Honestly, haven't even looked.
Yeah, you gotta wait. I like to wait till after qualifying, kind of to see, especially for like the top guys, because those prices won't move a whole lot. And maybe
Right.
if they do qualify a little worse, then maybe you could snag them for a better price. So we'll see.
That's why you make money and I don't. I bet with the heart.
Well, we'll see if that pays off this week.
Yeah, that's right. You have anything else?
I have one fun fact,
Okay.
and it's one of the best racing movies ever. Cars. Did you know
Yeah.
the opening scene was filmed at Bristol?
I thought it was an animated movie.
Yeah, you're right. But
Oh shit,
yeah, the
you're
opening
right.
scene was a recreation of Bristol Motor Speedway.
I did not know that. I'm gonna have to rewatch that scene and check it out. Now, before we go, this is why we watch NASCAR. If we just had to sit there for 4 hours every weekend, watch cars go round and round and round and round, we probably wouldn't be big fans of this sport. Yeah, it's cool. These cars are fast. It's an exciting sport. Rubbin, racing, stuff like that. That's great. But we are in it for the drama. And Bristol brings that drama. It is the #1 race for driver fights and #1 track for intentional wrecking. So I'm just putting that out there. If you guys were deciding whether you were going to turn it on or not, I have a feeling on Monday morning after this race, if you didn't watch it, you're going to be on YouTube looking at these highlights. So turn that on. You might be a little foggy. You might even have to call off of work. You got that little beer flu. But if you're sitting there, maybe next to the toilet or having to turn the lights off and stay all day in bed, turn these highlights on. You're gonna enjoy it.
I agree. I think there's going to be a lot of cautions this week, and yeah, I bet some of them are going to be intentional.
And last, it's not a fun fact for this race in particular, but I'm doing this podcast from a hotel about 30 miles from Talladega Superspeedway. I'm down in Alabama right now, and this is just big for the brand. I spent the morning walking around a camper RV lot, being shown around, and specifically talking about what is going to be good for hosting you guys at great tailgates We're going to meet all of you. We're going to have a beer. We're going to drink. They're going to drive. And it's going to be awesome. But we already have 2 races slated to meet you guys this year. Our first appearance of the year will be at the Charlotte race on Memorial Day weekend. So those details to come. We want to meet you. We want to party with you. And we want to watch this race. So those details to come. And then we are definitely at the fall Daytona race, the race right before the playoffs get kicked off. So hold on for those details. And if we can work something else out here in this lot, we may even see you more often this year. So I'm excited. Get ready to dye your beer green for this weekend, though.
Yes, happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Don't drink and drive.
Nope. Hope you guys get lucky. And yeah, have fun. See ya.